You know, one of the biggest energy revolutions on the entire planet is happening right now. And it is all about this: green hydrogen.
Now, really, just pause and think about that for a second. What if the most basic, life-giving substance we have could also be the fuel for our entire future?
I know, it sounds like something straight out of a sci-fi movie, right? But this is the very real possibility that the world is now racing towards. It's our chance to build a cleaner, safer, and, yeah, a truly sustainable civilization. So, why the big rush? Why now? Well, to really get why this solution is so exciting, we first have to wrap our heads around the massive scale of the problem we're all facing.
Look, for more than a century, oil and gas literally built our modern world. But all that progress has kind of pushed our planet to a breaking point. And the consequences? They're all around us. We're talking billions of tons of carbon, crazy weather, economies getting rocked by oil prices, and cities where people are literally struggling to breathe.
Now, you're probably thinking, hey, what about solar and wind? And you're absolutely right. They are incredible, powerful, clean solutions. But they've got one key limitation. They totally depend on the weather. The sun's not always out, and the wind doesn't always blow. What we really need is that missing piece of the puzzle, a clean fuel that you can store and then use anytime, anywhere, day or night. That's the critical gap that green hydrogen is perfectly poised to fill.
And that missing piece, the hero of our story today, is green hydrogen. So what is this stuff anyway?
Okay, so first, the absolute basics. Hydrogen is, well, it's just everywhere. It is literally the most common element in the entire universe. So the challenge has never been about finding it. It's always been about figuring out how to harness it cleanly and efficiently.
But here's something that's super important to know. Not all hydrogen is created equal. Most of the hydrogen made today is what we call gray hydrogen. It comes from natural gas, and the process actually releases a ton of carbon. Then you have blue hydrogen, which is a little better. It tries to capture some of that carbon. But green hydrogen, oh, it's in a completely different league.
Because when you use green hydrogen as a fuel, the only thing, and I mean the only thing that comes out is pure water vapor. That's it. No smoke, no carbon, zero pollution. This is exactly why it's being called a complete game changer for the planet.
So how in the world do we get from simple water to a powerful, clean fuel? Let's break down the science. It's actually way more straightforward than you might think. Okay, so the core process is called electrolysis, and it's surprisingly elegant. Basically, you take clean electricity, say from solar panels or wind turbines, and you run it through water. That jolt of clean energy gets the water molecules all excited, and it splits the H2O, cleanly separating the hydrogen from the oxygen. From there, you just collect that hydrogen gas, compress it, and bam, it's ready to be used as a super powerful, totally clean fuel.
Now, the second part of the magic is something called a fuel cell. This is how we turn that stored hydrogen back into usable power. A fuel cell basically takes the hydrogen, mixes it with plain old oxygen from the air around us, and that reaction creates electricity. And its only emission? Little drops of pure water. Just picture that. A car where the exhaust isn't some nasty smoke, but just a little trickle of clean water. That's the reality that fuel cells make possible.
Okay, so of course, like any revolutionary technology, green hydrogen isn't without its challenges. Let's get real for a minute and look at the hurdles, and maybe, more importantly, the solutions that people are working on right now.
The path forward definitely has some major roadblocks. The first, and it's a big one, is cost. Right now, making green hydrogen is still pretty expensive. Then there's the whole logistical puzzle of how to store and transport a compressed gas safely. It also takes a lot of fresh water, and you actually lose a bit of energy in the conversion process. These are some serious engineering challenges we have to solve.
But the story doesn't end there, not by a long shot. Researchers and engineers all over the world are tackling every single one of these problems head-on. They're building way more efficient electrolyzers to slash the costs, they're figuring out clever ways to use seawater, they're designing better and safer storage systems, and global research is speeding all of this up like every single day.
And you know, this isn't just some science project anymore. This has become a full-blown global competition. We're talking about nations betting billions and billions of dollars on a hydrogen-powered future. Just look at Japan, for instance. Their ambition is huge. They're not just thinking about cars. They are literally designing entire hydrogen-powered cities from the ground up. Meanwhile, over in Germany, the focus is on heavy industry. They're drawing up these massive plans to convert whole sectors, like steel manufacturing, to run completely on clean hydrogen.
The United States is coming at it with a powerful economic strategy, offering these huge financial incentives to get companies on board and speed up the whole transition.
And then you've got China, which is already leading the world when it comes to hydrogen fuel cell vehicles on its roads. They are really pushing the limits of clean transportation.
So, what does this all add up to? What's the end game here? Well, it's about way more than just a new type of fuel. It's really a vision for a fundamentally different kind of world.
We're talking about a future where our factories can run clean, our entire transportation network emits nothing but water, the air in our cities is actually fresh, and our energy is local and abundant. I mean, this is a vision that could create millions of new jobs and totally rewrite our economic future.
You know, the day really isn't that far off when we'll see hydrogen-powered trains zipping across continents and massive cargo ships crossing our oceans, all without leaving a single puff of smoke in the sky.
And maybe, just maybe, one day we'll all look back at this moment in history and say that this is when we made the choice to light our future with the clean, powerful flame of hydrogen.